Alright, you guys, so I just came back from the Facebook F8 Developer Conference, and there's a ton of stuff that I want to update you guys on. So if you have some time, go ahead and hang out. And if you're just tuning in, go ahead and leave a comment. Let me know where you're watching from. As you guys already probably know, I am in beautiful, sunny San Diego. So, who's here? Ooh, Andy Traub. So great to see you. I hope everything's working out with the eCam tutorials. Nice to have you here. So let me see if eCam is doing some bomb stuff and fixing the comments. So let me go ahead and grab Mike Alton's comment real quick. Boom. There you are, Mike. Look at that. It just pulled in all of your amazing profile photo and your comment. Yay. It looks like it's working. All right. Awesome. So here's what's going down, you guys. I was at the Facebook F8 Developer Conference last week. It was a 2-day conference where I got to really just geek out on everything that's happening on the Facebook platform, as well as what's happening in terms of Instagram, WhatsApp, Messenger, Augmented Reality, all of that stuff. I even got my hands on an Oculus Go. In fact, all of the attendees got their hands on an Oculus Go. So I'm going to unbox this in front of you guys today. So having said that, there's going to be a ton of updates that I have for you. So sit back, relax. I'm about to geek out with you major today. And I want to go ahead and give another shout out to Karen Newland. Nice to have a new face here. Hey, welcome to Lights Camera Live. All right, you guys. Okay. So let's talk about what it was like to be at F8. It was crazy. It was just like, oh my gosh, I've known Mark Zuckerberg for so long, not personally, but just being on the social media platform and seeing him on stage was really like, wow, you came up with Facebook. You've done all this amazing stuff. Because of you, I was able to have a career in social media and doing Facebook ads and so on. And so it was really just kind of very cool for me. I was kind of like fangirling the entire time. So to kick things off, he went ahead and he covered the big question that everyone at the conference had: app reviews. All right, if you were thinking that it was going to be about spam and privacy stuff, that wasn't the big opener. The big opener was that Facebook app reviews are now open, which is amazing. And it's super helpful because so many developers were submitting apps, like let's say chatbots, and it just wasn't going through. Like Mike Alton, for example, for Agora Pulse, he was like, oh my goodness, this new Facebook API update broke a lot of third-party scheduling platforms. And I even know that for eCam, they were having trouble pulling in profile pics and comments for live streaming platforms. So as soon as he announced that, the whole attendees, the conference, were like, yeah. So it was cool to be a part of that. The other thing that I want to say is, what's up, Vanessa Cabrera? Nice to have you in the house. You and I need to catch up, that's for sure. The other thing that he talked about, obviously, was because, there's media there. We wanted to talk about the privacy concerns. And so let me go ahead and kind of recap what he talked about for that. I'm actually going to go ahead and show you my screen real quick. So boom, there you go. This is the blog recap that I was doing at the actual conference. Live blogging it was pretty insane. And so let's go ahead and run through this. I'm going to check in with you guys. Hey, Mandy, so great to see you. All right, so app reviews are open again. That's definitely something that we talked about. The other big thing that we had chatted about, I say we chatted about as if like we're homies. That's funny. So protecting election integrity. So everyone knows about the Russian interference, how that was a big deal, especially with the fact that Mark Zuckerberg had to go to Congress and testify in front of everyone about how the platform actually works. And so a couple of things that he had chatted about was there are 3 specific categories that they're going to focus on in terms of fighting fake news. Okay. Oh, Mike Alton was saying that I was a live blogging machine. I sure was. All right. Okay. So going back to the 3 categories that they're focusing on. The first one is really spam. So the playbook for spammers is pretty much simple. They want to make money through clickbait. How many times have you guys actually clicked on something and it didn't have anything to do with what you thought that you were clicking on, right? So they're taking steps to go ahead and remove the economic incentive for spammers by tweaking the algorithm so that posts aren't shown in the newsfeed that's related to spam. Yay! Yay! I know I'm pretty happy about that, and I hope you guys are happy about that too. And then there's also the issue of fake accounts. During the keynote, he was basically saying that there were hundreds, thousands of fake accounts that they were pulling down from the platform. And what they're going to go ahead and do to spearhead that a little bit more, because for those of you in the US, in June, we have another election that's coming up, midterm elections. So they're hiring thousands of content creators to go ahead and take down those fake accounts. So they're doing their best to go ahead and remove bad actors from the platforms. And thank you, Irma Michelle Tano, who's saying that that's why he reports them. Yes, you should report fake news and get it off of the platform, because we don't need any of that stuff. Now, the third category that they were focusing on, I thought was really important, was dealing with the fact that there's real people sharing fake news, right? So this was really interesting. I obviously have, not obviously, but I have family members that tend to share, what do you call them, chain letters and messenger, that haven't really been verified. And so what Facebook is going to do is that they have these fact checkers. They're going to leverage the Associated Press, and they have these fact checkers that are going to go ahead and look at articles and say, hey, you know, this news source right now isn't actually valid. We had our fact checkers take a look at it, and this is what they found. In fact, let me go ahead and show you a screen grab that I got from one of the sessions. Where did I have it? Let me go ahead and pull this up. Oh, it's in my other one. Okay. So let me go ahead and pull this on the screen. This is what happens if someone that you know shares fake news. Okay. So they're going to inform people when they see false news. I hope you guys can see this, right? So informing people when they see false news, they're going to have this little fact checker button that's going to pop up. You know what? Let me take this out real quick, and then I'm just going to make this bigger. Boom. All right. You guys can see this, right? Okay. So informing people when they see false news. So what you can see here is that it says, here's Jeff Smith. He shared a link, related articles that are related to that specific topic, and then there's a little fact checker button, right? I don't know if you guys have seen this as well, but when you share a link, there's going to be this little eye icon that says inform. If you click on that, it'll let you know if that publisher is a valid resource. They'll have like a Wikipedia page when that resource or when that publisher was established, right? Cool. Other things here. So the other thing that they plan on having is informing people when they see false news, right? So when they see false news, there's additional reporting on this. It'll actually give you a notification and say, hey, before you share this link, you might want to know that there's additional reporting on this from fact checker A and fact checker B. So you could go ahead and click on to learn more information about that, or you could just go ahead and post anyway, right? So hopefully that's going to deter people from spreading false news. I'm really, really curious to get your opinion on that. Like, what do you think about these new measures to go ahead and get false news off the platform? All right. So this is how it would look like if you were to say, okay, well, I'm interested in what fact checker A has to say. This is the next screen that they kind of shared with us in the audience. It says about this article, where this article has been shared, right? So let's say this article is being shared in Russia, and who it's being shared by. Like, you could see amongst like who your friends like, hey, why are you sharing this article? You should not be sharing this article whatsoever, right? So that was one of the cool updates, and I'm really curious to hear what your thoughts are on that. All right, so going back to the other keynote updates. Like I said, Facebook is going to be hiring thousands of fact checkers. They're going to be partnering with the Associated Press and their fact checkers to make sure that things are legitimate on the site. Now, the interesting thing that someone brought up in one of the sessions, this wasn't actually in the keynote, but in one of the sessions specifically for media outlets, someone had asked, well, what about in smaller countries? Like, what about the elections that are happening over here? Like, do you have fact checkers over there? What's the time frame for that? And that was really something that the lead team was saying, oh, that's something that we have to work on as well. So that was really interesting. Let's also talk about data privacy. So everyone knows about what happened at Cambridge Analytica. They basically took data from Facebook users and then they sold it over to someone else, right? Or basically the cone guy, and then he sold it to Cambridge Analytica. All right. So this was really interesting. Even before the conference had started, news had broke about this new tool that Facebook is going to release, and it's called the Clear History tool. Now, with this tool, what users can do is that they'll have the ability to clear all of their activity on Facebook. Kind of similar to what you would do with your browser history. What's even more interesting about it is that you can choose whether or not you want Facebook to keep track of your activity outside of the platform. So like, let's say the websites that you visit, the blogs that you read, things of that sort. So he mentioned that there's going to be an option where you could clear your Facebook activity, and it will force Facebook to go ahead and relearn all of your interest, right? So it's kind of giving yourself like a clean slate on Facebook of, hey, maybe before I was super interested in wedding stuff, right? But that was 2 years ago, and I don't want to like hear about that anymore. I'm now interested in what's going on in X, Y, and Z. So that's an opportunity. And what was really interesting was like, well, crap. This is for you guys that are entrepreneurs, small business owners, and advertisers. Just imagine what would happen if a bunch of people utilized this Clear History tool and just kind of like wiped out their data. From an advertiser's perspective, that was the part where I was like, oh crap, well, what about my audience? Like everyone that I have cookied that went to my specific site because they were interested in, let's say, a product launch or a course that I have, that's going to decrease the size of my audience and potentially increase the cost of advertising. So something for you guys to think about. I'm also really curious to hear if you would be using this clearing history tool. I've actually had a couple of friends who are like, yeah, I would totally love to wipe the slate clean and kind of get a reset on Facebook. So really curious to get your thoughts on that. Let's see here. And then I'm going to go ahead and take a quick peek at the comments real quick. Let's see here. Mike says that's much needed for the fact checking stuff. That's awesome. Cool. Andy's going to come back. All right. I will get back to all of the other questions and comments at the end of the broadcast because there's always going to be that little 10-second delay. Well, here's Mike. Mike says that I might use the Clear History once. Yeah, I'm actually a little interested to see how that's going to pan out. But to be honest with you, like in terms of the ads that I'm getting, they're usually spot on. I feel like anything about like new tools I could geek out on, like Agora Pulse, Thinkific, those are all aligned with my interests. So I'm totally fine with that. I'm cool with that. All right, cool. So let's talk about other updates that he announced. All righty. Ooh, okay. This was hilarious. With all of the updates that he was mentioning, I was really quite surprised that they were going to be rolling out new features for Facebook groups. Right? Just because everyone is always talking about, okay, Facebook business pages aren't getting the reach that they once got. How do you keep your users engaged? And I feel like they're moving us towards creating a Facebook groups. And so one of the cool features that he announced is called a Facebook watch party. What that means is that you could take any video that has been uploaded and shared publicly on Facebook and create kind of like a scheduled time that you and your group members could go ahead and watch. And what was hilarious about Mark was that he's like, let's say, for example, you're testifying in front of Congress. You want to have a watch party. I was like, ooh, Mark Zuckerberg, you have jokes. You're hilarious. So he kind of, let me share my screen real quick. So he gave this example of him actually testifying in Congress and showing off the watch party. So that was pretty funny. And the cool thing, you guys, is in the garage, how would I describe this? At Facebook F8, there's this area called the garage, but it's not really garage. It's like the demo area. They were actually demoing how watch parties would function, and I was able to sit down with the gal that was in charge of that project. Luckily, I was able to go ahead and get watch party whitelisted for the social media strategist group. So let me go ahead and show you how that looks right now. And again, if you guys have any questions, go ahead and type them in the comments. I'll either answer them on the air or I'll answer them after the broadcast. So let me go to the social media strategist group, which, by the way, if you are not a member of the social media strategist group, now would be a good time for you guys to go ahead and hang out. We have about 790 members there, so it'll be great for you guys to see this. All right, let me go ahead and hide my picture-in-picture real quick. All right, so this is how it's going to function. If you guys wanted to go ahead and have a watch party with your Facebook users, you just go ahead and go over to more, and there's going to be this option right here where it says watch party. When you put together the watch party, you could go ahead and say Stephanie's watch party, add certain videos. This is where you'll have the option to go ahead and search for videos related to your group. So let's say you're an entrepreneur and you want to talk about goals, mindset, budget planning, things of that sort. You could go ahead and search for videos here. Let's say for me, I'm interested in Instagram. Plug this in, and then I could go ahead and see what kind of videos pop up for this. I totally should have planned this. Let's go back real quick. Let me go ahead and put the picture back in. Okay. Okay, so you could search for specific videos. You could add them on here. Let's see here. Let me just go back. So let's say I wanted to add, let's see. I'm going to add this to the queue. I don't know what that is. I could add videos that I've watched, right? So I could add videos about Goalcast, the Live Video Hub, Frame Studio, and then any videos that were uploaded to the group. So I could add the sneak peek video that I had with Chris Tan for the Organic Traffic Conference, yada, yada, yada. Any live videos that were also shared into the group, and live videos that are shared publicly. So let's say you have your own live videos, you could add them there too. Any videos that, let's say, you had saved while you were browsing the news feed, you could add that to the queue as well. Cool? And then you have suggestions. All right, so once I click done, I could go ahead and post this. It'll show that I have 5 videos queued up. What will happen is that as long as you're having this watch party, people can go in and comment on it. They could say like, oh, okay, I really like that part, yada, yada, yada. The tricky thing about watch parties is, as a live streamer, I started to think about, okay, well, what's the difference between live video? What's the difference between sharing a live video into a Facebook group versus doing a watch party? Well, there's a couple of things. A Facebook watch party is really for collecting any videos that were shared publicly from any page, right? And you could go ahead and create this playlist and then everyone could watch it. Down the line, what they plan on doing is having like a live commenter, plan on having like a live commentator where you can have a picture-in-picture where it's playing the video, and then over to the side you have a picture-in-picture where you could leave your commentary. Then you could say what's going on, what your thoughts are on it, and then people in your Facebook group can go ahead and leave comments as well, right? Now, compare that to a Facebook Live. If you were to go live into a Facebook group and share some pre-recorded media, you could still do a picture-in-picture. You could still engage in real time. The difference is that when you do a Facebook watch party, you can't retarget those people in your Facebook group that watch that specific video. Here's what I mean by that. So if anyone watches this Facebook Live video, I could go ahead and create a custom audience for those people that actually watched it. So I have a custom audience for people that watch all of the Instagram marketing videos, because then I know I could tap them later and say, hey, I want you to go ahead and check out the next episode that's going to be about Instagram. Well, I was sitting down on the couch in the garage and I was like, all right, cool. So for watch party, can I target super engaged users in my Facebook group and say, okay, cool, like Mike, Andy, and Vanessa, they totally watched this video as a part of the watch party. Can I retarget them later? And the answer was no. The other thing about the watch party was that any of the comments that you have, or even if you do the live commentary, your live commentary, like that video on top of like the queued playlist, is going to disappear. So anything, like any golden nuggets that you had to share about that playlist just goes away. I was like, oh, well, that's a bummer. Like what's the point in that? I would rather be able to say, here's a video, do a Facebook Live, share that in the group, and actually have the video share it at a specific time, right? Whereas in Facebook watch parties, it's always going to play the video at the very beginning. So that sucks because let's say you're sharing a video and then they have a super long intro that's like about 15 seconds. You're like, oh, you're going to lose engagement at that point. So that's something to think about. I'm curious if you guys are really interested in using Facebook Watch Party. And if you want to test it out in the Social Media Strategist group, definitely let me know. I would love to have a couple of people that we could go ahead and test that out with. All right, cool. Let's see what else happened over here. Other Facebook group updates. We talked about Watch Party, live commentator. That's going to be rolling. That's going to be coming down the pipe. I don't have that yet. Ooh, the other cool that they were talking about was groups are such a meaningful part of the platform, meaning that's where people really engage. Like I tend to get a lot more engagement in the Facebook group than I do on the business page. So what they're thinking of doing is that when you're on the Facebook mobile app, there's going to be an opportunity to see all of your Facebook groups at the very top. So that's going to be a bigger push for Facebook group owners to get more engagement in the groups, to get more people to join it, and so on. So if you're a Facebook group owner, I'm actually really curious to hear what your thoughts are with these new developments for the Facebook groups and how that's going to be coming down the pipe. Yeah? All right. Okay. Irma Tuano says, you have a couch in the garage. No, dude, I'm talking about the Facebook F8 conference. At the F8 conference, they had like this really cool... it was massive. It was really mad. I'm actually trying to see right now if I have a photo of the garage of what was going down in there. And I realized I don't have it. Let me see. I'm trying to see if I have it. No, but I do actually have some sneak peeks of a couple of other updates that they haven't announced just yet. All right, cool. Other things that they're working on is, Instagram updates. So there's going to be this new Explore design, and I feel like all the Instagram people were all about this. This is basically how the new Instagram design is going to look like. It's going to be categorized by specific topics. You guys, honestly, of all the billions of images that you've been sharing across Facebook and Instagram, they have this ridiculous, super smart automated machines that are dissecting what's happening in those photos, right? So like, let's say I have a photo of, well, let's just say right here. There's this photo where it says photography. You see that right there? Their AI is going to say, okay, you know what's happening in this photo? There's a photo of a camera. There's a photo of a person. There's a photo of a car and a photo of a cloud. That is how specific their automated learning machines are. So I was like, oh my goodness, all of the hashtags that we've been giving them has contributed to this metadata that all of their machines are able to learn. They're able to really take a look at a photo and see what's going on. And because of that, they're going to be launching a new feature called, or this new Explore design where you could follow specific topics. So I know for me, whenever I hang out on Explore, I'm just like, how did this even pop up here? Like, how do I even know this? But now, as you notice here, you could say like, hey, if you're really interested in animals, you could just go ahead and click on animals and that's going to pop up for you. Photography, architecture, design, yada, yada, yada. If there was anything that really stood out to me in this particular session about the new Explore design was the fact that the more specific you are with your hashtags, the better it is in terms of ranking. That was kind of like the part where I was like, ooh, right? The gal that I was sitting right next to me, I think she was the writer for BuzzFeed, and we looked at each other. We're like, ooh, we need to like take a look at her hashtags for specific strategies, because most people, they'll do like the broad keyword, right? Like let's say visit California, visit San Diego, and they'll just like niche down. Whereas we kind of looked at each other like, okay, cool. So if I have this photography photo, I'm going to say camera, car, clouds, and it's all because it's basically describing the photo. Does that make sense to you guys? All right, cool. Irma says, yep, just like that Google AI thing that's being implemented. I heard about that. This whole artificial intelligence stuff, you guys, is completely blowing up. So it's really cool just to, like, as a marketer, to be there at the developer conference to kind of see, like, where technology is going, right? All right. So scrolling back up, Let's see. Ooh, group video chat. Did you guys hear about this? Okay, there's going to be this feature where in Instagram Live has been doing phenomenal, right? People are like, ooh, I love the fact that I can engage with people in real time. Is there a way that I could go ahead and video chat with my friends? And so they came up with this. They're going to roll out this new feature called group video chat, and you can have at least up to 4 people on camera with you. And while you are talking to those 4 people, so let's say I'm hanging out with Vanessa, Andy, Mike, and Irmer, if I wanted to, I could go ahead and do like a picture-in-picture and still have that camera on the side over here and then still scroll the Facebook newsfeed. In fact, let me go ahead and see if I actually have a photo of that, you guys. I've just been trying to catch up on everything. And so while I do this, you guys go ahead and leave a comment. Let me know if you have any questions, what's going on in your head right now when it comes to all of this stuff. Let's see here. Oh, it doesn't look like I have it handy. That's all right. Okay. Bring this down a second. All right, so that is the group video chat that's going to be rolling out. If you guys have that functionality, I'm really curious to hear. Have you tried it yet? Do you like it? What are your thoughts? Would you see yourself doing group video chats a lot more? Who would you call? Ghostbusters. No, I'm just kidding. All right. So the other thing that I was truly geeking out was the whole Spotify integration. Just the fact that I could share like my favorite songs with my Instagram fans, I was like, I am all about this. So let me go ahead and show you this quick tutorial video on how to add Spotify music into your Instagram stories. P.S. by the way, if you guys know anyone that would be interested in watching this Facebook Live, go ahead and tag them, share this into your Facebook groups, your personal profiles, wherever it is, because we are about to geek out. All right, so jumping right into the Spotify integration. Ready, set, go. All right, you guys. So in terms of the Spotify integration, it's going to be added to Instagram stories and on Facebook stories as well. Now, I know that some of you don't have the Instagram stories and Spotify integration just yet. Shout out to Mike Alton, who has been patiently waiting since last week. I'm hoping that you get that soon. As far as Facebook stories and the Spotify stuff, I have not seen that yet. All right, cool. The other thing that they're integrating with Instagram stories is GoPro. So for content creators that are using GoPro, basically you do the whole GoPro app on your phone, and then you could go ahead and share that directly into Instagram stories. I see that as a really great way to just kind of speed up the content publishing process. So really curious to see how many of you guys have a GoPro. I have a GoPro. I think it's like, I think it was like the Hero 3. I'm a little like behind on my GoPro gadgets, but I'm really curious to hear if that's something that you would want to include in your Instagram stories. If you haven't realized it so far, basically what Facebook has realized is that stories tends to get a lot more engagement versus the newsfeed. So that's why there's all these new things that are coming from a stories perspective. So Mike, he says, I don't have video chat or Spotify integration yet. So sorry. Waiting for it. Let's see. Ooh, augmented reality filters. So this was something that was really interesting. For those of you that have been following me on my Facebook page, I've been playing with Facebook's AR studio, the Augmented Reality studio. And it teaches you basically how to create a basic filter. So, I wonder if I shared that on my desktop. Let me see if I could share that with you real quick. P.S. This is why I love Ecamm, because it's super easy for me to geek out with you guys and just show all the random videos that I've been creating. So while I look for this, go ahead and leave a comment. Let me know what you guys think so far about everything that we've covered. What is one thing that you're super excited about? Oh, and here it is. Let me go ahead and share the AR studio that I've been messing around with. Hey, you guys. So I am playing around with AR Studio right after the Facebook F8 conference, and this is what I've came up with so far. Okay. All right. Now let's get rid of this video. Hey, you guys. Oops. So I am... One second. All right. Let's go back here. Okay. So with the AR Studio, I bumped into the guy in the garage again, right? And he had this big sign. It goes like, anyone can do AR. And I was like, anyone? And he's like, yes, let me show you. And he pulled up AR Studio and he walked me through all of the steps. And I came up with that video that you guys saw. So why this is going to be really cool for Instagram and growing your audience is this. They're opening it up to select brands and influencers to create their own AR effect. And what will happen is that the only way for their users to get that AR effect is if you're following that specific person. So let's say, for example, let's say I'm Sephora and I have this new AR effect that is like unicorn, right? I'm like, oh my God, I want this unicorn AR effect. I have to first be following Sephora, and then I could go ahead and download that into like my AR effect tray and then put that together. So let's say you are, let's say from a marketer's perspective, let's say you are hosting a conference and you want to create some type of AR filter. You could create that, and then anyone that you want to get like hyped up to attend can go ahead and download that, but they first must follow your Instagram account. So really curious to hear what your thoughts are on augmented reality. Is that something that you would be interested in as a user? What specific brands would you want to borrow an AR filter from? For me, mine specifically would be Rihanna. I would love to have the one where it has like, you know, any like Rihanna or Beyonce that has like a crown. I am all about. And I silently just laughed to myself because I was like, dude, the Facebook algorithm, as soon as this live broadcast is done, it's just going to show like this as my thumbnail. Okay, now the other update that Instagram is going to be rolling out, which I feel like should have been like long time ago, is an anti-bullying feature. So yay. Basically what happens is that if anyone is, doing hate speech, harassing you, any of that stuff, it'll go ahead and block them from your feed, block them from the comments, and repeat offenders will just go ahead and be pulled from the platform completely. So I think that's a good step in the right direction. All right. Let's see. Oh, I actually did have a photo. Here it is. Let me go ahead and minimize this over here. So here's a photo of the video chat. Do you guys see this? There's like 4 people on the upper right hand corner, but then he's still browsing what's happening in the news feed. Okay. All right. And then we talked about the new Instagram Explore design. Let's also talk about the new Instagram Graph API. I actually don't know if you guys are aware of this. I know my friends, like Bill View over at Found on Tack, he's pretty familiar with what's happening with the Instagram API for Tack. And so he and I were geeking out. I was like, hey, dude, did you hear about the whole new Instagram Graph API and what's rolling out? So here's kind of the gist of it. For those of you like us marketers that are managing multiple Instagram accounts, it's kind of a pain in the ass to go ahead and add a client on there, switch between it, all this stuff. Sometimes you need multiple devices to handle multiple clients. Just the way that the original legacy Instagram API was set up didn't really have a brand in mind for how it would function. So that's what the new Instagram Graph API was designed for. So let me go ahead and show you another sneak peek of what happened at the Instagram Graph API session. So my Instagram people, check this out. So let's see if I can make this bigger. Okay, there's the legacy API and then there's the Graph API. I'm totally geeking out with you guys. I swear this is like going to be like one of the most epic episodes. All right, so with the legacy API, if you wanted to go ahead and log in, you would have to use your Instagram credentials, and you would have public access to pretty much everything that was out there, user information, yada, yada, yada. With the new Graph API, pay attention here, with the new Graph API, you'll have to use your Facebook credentials. That means any business or brand that has a Instagram business profile is going to need a Facebook business page in order to log in and use the Instagram Graph API. And I did a little awkward pause there because I want that to stick with you guys. If you are an influencer and you have an Instagram business account, to leverage the new Graph API, you're going to need a Facebook business page, right? So that means jumping onto Business Manager. Now that's going to be a little awkward for some people because some people are anti-Business Manager, which I have no idea why. That's coming down the pipe, right? Here's something else that was shared in the Instagram API. Oh, here it is. So it's going to require a Facebook page. It's going to, each Instagram business account is going to require a Facebook business page. It'll inherit the page staffing permission. So in Business Manager, you can assign people by admin, editor, analyst, yada, yada, yada. Anything that you set up there in Business Manager is going to go ahead and roll into the Instagram Graph API or whatever third-party platform is going to be using this for you. Cool? All right. I'm just going to move this real quick. All right. Let's see here. Other updates. Boom. Throw that away. Throw that away. Here's the other screenshot that I got over there. This is the Instagram account. So you'll have your Instagram account connected to a Facebook business page, and this is where you're going to have all of your permissions, your admin, your analyst, your editor, your staff. This is amazing from an agency perspective because it's going to be so much easier to manage all of those accounts, right? So really curious on what your thoughts are on this. Does your client or do you have a Facebook business page connected to your Instagram account? Got it? All right, here's another screenshot that I got for you guys. Let's see. So one of the things that the Instagram Graph API does is that it's pretty much put together to protect privacy until the public consent is granted. So that means if someone mentions your business, then you'll be able to comment back to them. If they don't mention you, then you can't, through the Instagram Graph API, leave a comment. Now, there's like a lot of geeky stuff when it comes to the new Instagram Graph API, and that is why I'm going to have two people that I plan on having on the show. First of all, Grandmaster Jen Herman. I want to bring her onto the show to get her opinion on the new Instagram Graph API, and then I also want to get Bill View on the show to kind of be like, dude, how do we prepare for this? Because here's the thing. With the new Instagram Graph API, you're going to need a Facebook business page that's going to roll out this year. Pretty much everything that Facebook has had, you were always required to have a Facebook login for that. Instagram, because they inherited it, didn't have that platform. So for that to roll out, that's actually, they're estimating that that's going to happen in January 2019. Now, I know this is a lot of information, you guys, so seriously, if this is something that you're like, oh my God, I need to go back and listen to this again, just leave a comment and be like, I need to listen to this again because there's going to be a lot of stuff that I'm going to be covering and walking through. All right, let's see what else do we have here. Ooh, okay. Here's my favorite part. I'm just going down this blog post because it's a great way for me to go ahead and keep in mind of what to talk about. So let's talk about Oculus Go. I got my hands on an Oculus Go. I have not bloody opened this thing for a week and a half now because it's hard to do it when you have a 3-year-old. So I'm going to open this in front of you guys. Here's what's cool about this. It's a standalone VR headset, which means I don't need to have super crazy wires all hooked up in my office. I've got enough stuff in my office, you guys, with like lighting, mics, all that stuff. And to have this one little box of this Oculus Go is awesome. It already comes with, can you see this? 1,000 games and apps and movies. So it's going to be connected to Netflix, Facebook, Fox, the New York Times, Hulu. There's just a lot of stuff that's coming in here. Irma just said, "What? We're buying it too! Yay!" Yeah, dude, this is awesome because it's so affordable. Check this out. This is the 32 gigabyte, and it's $199. I think they have a 64 one, and it's probably an extra $100 more. You could get this right now on Amazon. You could get this on the Oculus Go website, and a few other partners. Right? Okay. Yeah. All right, so here's the other thing about Oculus Go in terms of how they are going to make this really cool for people. They're going to have 3 flagship experiences. Oh, sorry, I had to stop for a second. I was like, wait a second. 3 flagship experiences. Let me go ahead and show this. There's Oculus TV, which launches this month, and it's going to be a totally new way to watch TV. Basically, imagine a ginormous TV, 180-inch screen that works like a smart TV, right? You can invite your family and friends to watch in virtual reality wherever they are in the world. They already have partnerships with ESPN, Netflix, Hulu, and Showtime. Okay. This is how it looks so far. I'm shaking. I'm shaking because I'm geeking out. All right. So it's gray. Cool. And I'm assuming that this is kind of like the little remote that I use to maneuver around. Here it is. It's pretty lightweight. It's probably like a pound. Like this feels like nothing. It's so lightweight, which is pretty cool because then it doesn't feel too weighed down. All I need to get this thing hooked up and running is I just need to download the Oculus app on my headset and I'm good to go. I don't have to plug anything into my computer. Yay, no wires. I'm all about it. And P.S., if you noticed, there's no headphones that goes along with this, and that's because within this little strap, this is actually pretty new, can I show that? Within this little strap, do you see that? That strap right there is a built-in speaker. So I could actually hear what's going on and go about it that way. Oh, it smells new. I like it. I like it a lot. My husband already has a VR headset in his office. I forget which brand it is. Or if you remember, go ahead and drop that in the comments. And he had to have like this really huge setup. He had to have like these 4 sensors in his office, and then like the VR headset was connected, and then all this stuff. I basically felt like I was like in the movie Aliens. I was just like, what is going on? Like connect. I felt like I was in the Matrix pretty much, right? Anyway, Mike is laughing. Mike, are you laughing because I smelled it? It smells good. All right. So I still need to play around with this Oculus Go, but let me tell you what else is coming down the pipe when it comes to this. Thanks for letting me unbox my Oculus Go with you. Yeah. Okay. Putting that on the floor. Okay, so there's Oculus TV, kind of like what we talked about. Just imagine a ginormous 180-inch screen that you could go ahead and watch. And then they have Oculus Rooms, which is like if I wanted to go ahead and invite Irma, my husband, and all of my friends to watch the same movie, we could do that. We're just in different places, right? So we're experiencing the same content together. So we could watch 3D movies together, listen to music, play board games. Honestly, I'm still a big, huge fan of seeing people face to face. So I'm not quite sure how I would use that. I would think that if you were an entrepreneur, right, and you wanted to have like some type of retreat, you could do a virtual retreat. Like that would be sick. You're like, all right, cool. We're gonna have this virtual retreat for a second. We're gonna go ahead and hop into the beach, and then you go through like your whole retreat stuff like that. They already have partnerships with a few board games. There's Boggle, Trivial Pursuit, and Monopoly. Monopoly makes me laugh because I feel like in our family, when we play Monopoly, like we are super, super serious. So hoping that nobody breaks their Oculus Go when that happens. Now here's the other cool part. The other category that they're using, or their flagship experience that they're going to be releasing on Oculus Go is Oculus venues. That means if you want to go ahead and experience a game, but you can't be there physically, let's talk about like the NBA playoffs, MLB, a concert, right? Like if I wanted to like see like Baychella. I could see like Beyonce like up there and have this whole immersive VR experience and get down with that. So partnerships that they already have, like I mentioned, is NBA, MLB, Lionsgate, AEG. And get this, the first live concert is going to be with Vance Joy on May 30th. That's 20 days from now. That means I need at least a good 2 weeks to go ahead and figure out how this Oculus Go is going to go ahead and work. All right, so in terms of pricing, 32 gigabytes, $199 for the one that I have that I just showed you, and then 64 gigabytes for $249. Now, if you guys are interested in having an Oculus Go, go ahead and leave a comment and be like, I want an Oculus Go. I'd be really curious to hear what your thoughts are on that. All right, the other thing that's coming to Facebook, I feel like everyone had a big splash on this, is dating is coming to Facebook. Dating, all my single friends, what? That's going to be an opportunity for you to go ahead and find your soulmate. Basically, I feel like Mark just put every other dating service on notice. So like, what the zuck? There you go, right? Other cool things, there's safety check updates, the WhatsApp updates. I personally don't use WhatsApp, but this definitely had me at the point where I was like, what is WhatsApp? What's going on there? Apparently, there has been 200 billion minutes of voice and video calls made on WhatsApp. A ton of people use it. There's going to have a new feature where you could do the group voice, video calling. They're going to have stickers. There's going to be WhatsApp for business, right? So getting your business on WhatsApp is going to open you up to a larger audience that uses that platform specifically. And let's see here. Ooh, Messenger updates. Okay, this is the really fun part, you guys. Messenger updates. I don't know if you've actually seen this, but in Messenger, and to be honest with you, I use Messenger all the time. Like I'm always like messaging my BFFs. I'm like, Mike Alton, check this out. Blah, 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 blah. Jen Herman, blah, blah, blah. So there's new features. There's going to be launching peer-to-peer payments, which I was like, okay. Venmo, do I need you? Sharing rich media. So I don't know if you guys have ever done this, but sometimes when I'm working with a client, they'll send me a photo, but then I'm unable to get like the high res version. So in Messenger, you'll be able to go ahead and share and send like 4K videos, 360 photos, and HD images. That's awesome. The one thing that I really wanted to talk to you guys about is the fact that they're now going to be introducing augmented reality into Messenger. So let me show you how all of that pans out. All right, ready, set, go. So that is augmented reality in the app. And the one thing that I didn't show you guys was even Kia is one of the early adopters of using augmented reality in Messenger. So let me go ahead and share my screen with you real quick. I think I could do this. Yes, this is why I love eCam, you guys. All right, so Kia Motors, they did this thing where it says, hey, go ahead and summon the Stinger, which is basically one of their new cars. I could click on it. This is going to go ahead and open up. There's my desk. My desk is a nightmare. But there is now the Kia Stinger, and I could move it around. And it's funny because I actually parked this bad boy in the driveway, and I told my husband we had a new car. And he was like, what? No, we don't. But yeah, so this is how car manufacturers are giving people a sneak peek at new cars, right? Yay! Hey, Kalisha, so nice to have you here. So I could choose different cars. I could go ahead and zoom in, zoom out, turn it around, right? So I could say like, ooh, well, this car matches my front porch. I'm all about that. So this is how I think it'd be really cool for brands to use augmented reality, especially in Messenger. Like for me, for many of us live streamers, we're always like, how is this backdrop going to look like in my office? Like, let's say I wanted to have new frames up here, right? Like, let's say I went to Pier 1 Import, opened it up on Messenger app, I could see like how a new frame or a new mirror would look like in my house. I thought that was pretty cool. So that's a really great way to see how augmented reality can be used in Messenger. All right, so let's see here. We talked about, Messenger bots. That's a big, huge thing. You kind of saw that in the video that I shared earlier with the augmented reality. You could do all of that good stuff. All right. Here is a sneak peek of the Facebook Messenger design. I'm just going to leave this up on the blog post for you guys to go ahead and watch because I don't have this put down. The other thing that they have is called Augmented Reality for 3D objects. Now let me go ahead and just like explain this real quick. So with this particular post, right, this Wayfair post right here, what happens is that if you see a post like this in your news feed, right, it's like, hey, now you could view furniture up close. What happens is that through the Facebook mobile app, there would be like this little button, right? Okay, cool. I can move this around. But in augmented reality, there would be this little button that I could click on to say, try it, right? So imagine I see this new furniture and I'm like, ooh, cool, I really like this Chase Lounge. If I click on try it, boom, all of a sudden it shows up on my screen, and then I could pinch and zoom to see how it would actually look like in my living room. So that is called 3D posts. I'm going bananas because I'm just like, oh my gosh, like I could totally redesign my office the way that I want it to, and imagine how it would look like before investing in a piece of furniture. I'm like, I don't know, I don't really like it. Anyway, you guys, hey, Brittany, so happy to have you here. Okay, so that's been a lot of updates for you guys. The other thing that I want to share with you is that I met up with Live View over at the Facebook F8 conference, and let me tell you why this Live View is awesome. Actually, let me go ahead and pull up their website. Live View Solo. This is what's really cool for those of you that want to go live using a DSLR in places, but you don't have really good Wi-Fi access. This is why it's pretty badass. Okay, so what happens is that I take this, let me share my screen with you 1 second, or let me share my camera with you. So what happens is that I could take this Live View, right, this bad boy right here, stick it on top of my GH5, and I could go anywhere. I could go down to the beach. I could go down to Balboa Park. I could go to the Cove and connect this to my Wi-Fi DSLR and go live. It's going to take all the little baby Wi-Fis and make it into like this one big Wi-Fi that I could go ahead and use and go live from. So this is something that I plan on geeking out with pretty soon. Mike Alton, I think this actually would be really cool for you, especially if you are going to be going to conferences, right? And you want to have like a solid connection, right? Because when you're at conferences, other people are using the same bandwidth. This will give you like one mother of all like bandwidth, and you could go ahead and connect to it. What's also really cool is that it's not only just for going live on Facebook, but it'll go live on Periscope, it'll go live on YouTube. So you just set it up on your desktop, and then as soon as you say, okay, cool, I'm ready to go live, you push the button, boom, you're live streaming. You're live streaming, and it could still do like your bottom third graphics and all of that cool stuff. Man, that's pretty much like everything at this point, you guys. So I wanted to go ahead and see if I could grab Chris Tan. Chris Tan is supposed to hop on the show to talk about the Organic Traffic Conference that's going to be starting next week. And so bear with me because I'm going to try and see if Chris is still available, because I want him to hop on to talk about this virtual summit that he's doing for the Organic Traffic Conference, because that is where I'm going to be geeking out more with you guys about Facebook Live video and how you could drive organic traffic to your conference. So let's see if Chris is here. Chris, are you there? Hi. Chris is typing. So, P.S. by the way, if you guys are still here, let me know, like, what was your favorite update from the Facebook F8 Developer Conference. In fact, Chris is here, so let me go ahead and dial Chris. And Chris, while I'm getting Chris on here, let's see here. Switch screens. And
what's up, Stephanie?
Chris! I got you on. I know, dude. I know. It was God, I'm super excited.
I was on my way to like the kitchen to grab a banana because I was watching your live stream and I heard Chris Tan and I was like, no! So I ran all the way back into my room and jumped onto my bed and I immediately just like, oh my God, I'm here.
You're like my banana. Well, thanks for being so patient. So for those of you guys, if you don't know this, Chris usually runs like these virtual summits, which are pretty badass. I've already done one virtual summit for you, the Social Media Online Summit, and now you have this new Organic Traffic Conferences, which really talks about like how small business owners and entrepreneurs, how they could drive organic traffic to their websites or whatever the heck it is that they want. And it's all done online, right?
Exactly. So we did SMOS. What was that, in January, and it was such a success, and people were telling me, oh my God, I want to learn more, like, how can I grow my business? And so, everyone wants to learn how to grow their business organically without paying more money. Which really came about this idea of running a conference on organic traffic. So you are one of our speakers, super excited. You taught us all about, how can we drive organic traffic using Facebook, and of course you covered Facebook Live, which was super awesome. So it's just like this conference is happening next week, so it's really just super exciting for me and for the team that's been doing everything behind the shows.
Behind the scene. Oh my gosh, you guys. Chris is super humble. Because there's a lot of work that goes into virtual summits, and I feel like every time you have a virtual summit, like you drop the hammer. You're like, and this person is coming, and this person is coming. And I was like, dude, your LinkedIn is popping. So if you guys are interested in attending, Chris, like he said, is going to be next week.
It is going to be next week, yeah. So there are two types of passes, right? So one pass, it's basically we call it the value pass. You get to watch all sessions of for 48 hours once they go live. And you get that for a really low price of $27 right now. So, super affordable, basically it's just meant for those who are like starting out. They don't have that much to, maybe they want to invest that much, but they can still learn a lot in 48 hours for each video, right? So it's over the span of 4 days. You get to watch and learn so much. We're learning SEO, you're learning content marketing, how to write articles that's going to drive so much traffic forever and ever and ever to your website without paying for any ads. Of course, you're going to learn social media, like some parts of it, how to use LinkedIn to drive organic traffic, how to use Facebook, and then you're going to learn miscellaneous stuff like how to use contests to drive so much organic traffic to your business. And then there's also the premium pass, which basically gives you access to all the sessions right now, lifetime. So that's really just, 2 ways of watching it.
What? Okay, cool. And so Brenda was like, ooh, can you drop a link? So I'm just going to drop a link for you right now into the comments. So hopefully you guys get that. All right.
Yeah.
Dude, Chris, thank you so much for hopping on. I bet you were just like, when is she going to bring me on? She's just going on. Like, seriously, I was scrolling down like the keynote recap and I was like, damn, am I going to have time to bring Chris on?
I was like, I'm really starving right now, and I was like, I need to grab something, and I was like, on my way.
You know what you do? It's like, so here's like a live streamer trick is that you have like a tumbler, and then that's where you just put like your smoothie, and you're just like,
oh, now I know.
That's how you run it. All right, Chris. Well, thank you so much. Go ahead. Go grab your banana.
All right.
And I will catch you later.
Awesome.
Chris is awesome, you guys. I feel like whenever I have Chris on Skype, we are always geeking out, cracking up. I always tend to like laugh when I'm crying or cry when I'm laughing. Sorry. Too much coffee, too much geeking out. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me today. I hope you learned a ton. And if you're watching the replay or if you're just catching this at the tail end of it, go ahead and do the live rewind, start from the very beginning, catch everything that I updated you guys on. And please go ahead and join Chris and I at the Organic Traffic Conference next week. And if you want to know how this live view thing is working out, make sure that you are liking this page and subscribing to notifications because I'm obviously going to geek out with you guys. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me this Thursday. I will catch up with you later. Go ahead and take care. Say bye.